My name is Carly, and I am a program manager here with Junior Achievement. So, my job is to help make sure students like yourselves feel prepared to enter the world of work. And today we're going to be talking about resume creation. We're going to focus on what does it take when you are starting to search for a job to write and express yourself well in a written form in a resume. So, when you're searching for a job, you pretty much always will need to submit a resume, whether that's online or by turning it in person. And regardless of the format, you'll need to present yourself in writing to get that job. So if you're trying to get a job, there's lots of important things that you want the employer to know about you. So some things that I would want to make sure that I would share with an employer are some of the experience that I have, how my education makes me prepared for the job, and then some of my skills. All of those things we're going to talk about in this session so that you feel prepared to describe yourself in ways that make you look appealing to a potential employer. So as we work on this activity, I want you to keep in mind that you are going to be writing in a way that makes yourself look good to an employer. So if you want to get an interview, you really have to focus on how your resume sells you as best as possible. So we're going to be looking today at the resource that comes with this lesson. So please pull that up now. Go ahead and pause the video if you don't have it pulled up yet, because it's really important. We're going to look through it together. Okay, and I'm going to pull it up now too. All right, so the first page looks like this, your soft skills student guide. We're going to scroll down to the sample resume. So this is for Simone, and throughout your professional lives, we know you're probably going to need a resume, and this is a standard way that you can represent yourself to potential employers. What it is it's basically a summary of all of your experience and your accomplishments. So let's look at the sample. So we're going to notice that Simone in this example is a high school senior who's applying for jobs in the summer. So she has listed, first off, we know that where she went to school, where she goes to school. We know when she's expected to graduate, helps give some information about how much school she has left. And it's also telling us about any of her advanced classes as well as her GPA. So we know that she has a GPA of 3.5, and we know some of the things that she has done in school that have helped to demonstrate how accomplished she is. So she got an award from the library, a chemistry award, and she played on the chess and the volleyball teams. So she also then moves down to work experience. We're going to present that typically from the most recent to the oldest job that you've had. So she has the oldest job that she's had on here, but what you'll notice is she wrote through present. That means that she's still currently in that job. So if it's a job you have right now, put through present so they know you're still working there. If not, you put the end date. So if she had stopped working here at Critter Crew in the past, we would put Sonic on top because that's the most recent and that's where she still works. Okay. She also gives us some information on what she does at that job through very specific action words. She doesn't say things like, I am in charge of animals. She tells me she cares for animals. So I know the action of what she's doing. We're going to move down to her key skills and activities. And this is where you're going to want to think about what some of your skill sets are. So first, I noticed that she lists out some of her technical skills. And by technical skills, I mean things that you learn either through education, training, or experience. They're not just things you naturally have. You have to put some effort into learning them. So she tells us she's fluent in Spanish. She learned Spanish. That's so helpful for me because I know that that's something she's learned and gained. So she also tells us a little bit about STEM skills. We always want to include STEM skills, science, technology, engineering, and math, because those are the future of the workforce. They want to know that you're good at technology. So it's important that she told us that she's proficient in Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, as well as online research. So I know if I threw something computer-wise at her, she'd be ready. Finally, it's so important that you include some of your basic skills or the things that make you unique when it comes to the world of work. So for example, she tells us she has an outgoing personality, that she's punctual, and she's a dependable self-starter. So really, no matter what job she has, those are the things about her that would make her excel in a computer job, in a desk job, in a customer service job. Those are all things that employers look for. So we should really highlight the things that are great about us. So let's say you're applying for a job at a company that bakes cookies and delivers them fresh to a local store. What do you think are some of the key skills and abilities that you would want to stress? Well, first, some of her technical skills. We would hope that you know how to bake, that you know how to follow a recipe, you know how to turn on an oven, how to work equipment, and that you know some things about delivery. You got to be able to have a driver's license and operate certain types of cars. We want to know about their STEM skills. So can they operate the computer side to that job? And then finally, what are some of the basic skills that we would want a person to have if they were working at a cookie shop? Well, we would want to know that they were good with customers, that they're great at sales. And you want to know things like being on time. Are you good at working in a team? Are you a leader? So now let's say we're applying for a job at a computer store. Our skills are going to be a little different that we want to emphasize. So of course we want to emphasize that you have computer skills and knowledge and experience in retail. But you're also going to want to highlight some of those same key skills, right? So if Simone is someone who's a self-starter, that's going to be important anywhere she works. So it's so important when you are working on your resume that you tailor it to the specific job that you're applying for. So right now, you might think you're having some trouble with creating a resume, especially if you haven't had a job yet. But you can grow skills and experience without having a job. So your time at school, personal examples, volunteer work, all of those are things that you can pull from to talk about some of your skills. So now we're going to go down to our resume template. Now I want you to take the time to start to fill in your own information. So I want you to make sure you take about 5 to 10 minutes to do this as soon as the video is over, so that you can think about, what is the information I would want to include? Sure, maybe you don't have examples for every single thing, but maybe think, what could I replace that with? Let's talk about with work experience. It could be paid or volunteer. Do you babysit? Do you mow lawns? Do you do some work at school that's extra to what you do in the classroom? Are you a part of any clubs or organizations? Do you have perfect attendance? These are all things you want to think about and point out when you're putting them into your resume. So good luck with working on that as soon as we wrap up this video. So this is a basic format. You're going to want to take some time to craft it out to make it reflect who you are. And you're often going to have to share a resume online or an email. So you should be prepared to keep it a digital format. But whatever way you present this, it's probably one of many resumes being considered. So always make it easy to read, well organized, and filled with the most relevant and impressive information that will help you get the job. All right, so to wrap us up, to have a job, you need to apply for that job. And the way you represent yourself in writing is going to make a huge difference in getting you in the door. Make sure to be specific, accurate, and professional in everything you put on a resume that represents you. Thanks so much for joining us today, and have a great rest of your week.